Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Chess Now, episode 41 for January 15th, 2009. Today, we celebrate being on the air for over 2 years. We are broadcasting live from New York City. And a special guest. Well, all right, I won't say the special guest yet, but I am so pleased as punch about this. I tell you, Lester, who runs the show, he called me and said, Phil, you know how you normally dress? Can you dress a little bit, neater? And I said, oh, okay. Once he told me who the guest was going to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, this guest, I tell you, he's gangsterlicious when it comes to chess. First off, in Chess Life magazine, he writes Solitaire Chess. He's done books like The Chess Doctor, The ABC of Chess, Chessercise, Chess Openings, Zaps and Traps, and Pandolfini's Ultimate Guide to Chess. Let's hear it for Bruce Pandolfini. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you, Phil.
It is my pleasure to have you on the show. I tell you, you're bringing legitimacy to Chess Now, the only New York City-based public access show about chess. If you don't like it, why don't you make your own show? Enough said. Thank you.
Thank you for your dress, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I busted it out just for you. It's true. I feel like I'm running side by side with Obama this time. Hey, check it out. I got the little ear thing. I'm going to be like one of these things. Somebody's going to try and take a shot at you, dude. I'll take that bullet. Really, seriously. I'm glad that you're here. Now, for people that if you're out of the loop and you've been living under a rock for most of your life, well, let me give you a little bit of Bruce's credits over here. Now, Bruce is a chess author, teacher, and coach. He's famously portrayed by Ben Kingsley in the 1993 film Searching for Bobby Fischer, based on the book of the same name. Now, let me get this straight. When they did this movie, what happens is, I'm reading here on Wikipedia, it says that now you are a laid-back teacher, and that's why the kids like you so much. But in the movie, you were portrayed as like this hard ass that was like, trying to, what's up?
Right. I don't think I'm really that tough. I think what happened is that when Ben Kingsley got the script, he imagined the character out of Samuel Beckett, Murphy or Malloy, one of those guys, and he got his hair styled that way, and he thought he should play it in a more rigorous manner, and it comes off beautifully, but it's not exactly me.
Oh, actually, I'll level with you, because if you've seen any pictures of him, he doesn't resemble him at all. Now, I remember you're on the box of what is Mattel's, the Mattel computer chess. Can we get the shot of that? Because it's such a great shot.
God, you have a good memory.
Yeah, Halsey, we have a shot of it. Can we have a shot of the computer chess, please? It's on the Apple. Anybody?
Well, that alienates the remaining fans I had.
No, seriously. That was a good one. What year was that done? No, that's a shot of the chessboard, seriously.
I think that was 1979 or 80.
1979, 1980. That was a very good year for computer chess, I would say. Early stuff on.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on then, yes.
Yeah, all right. Now, here's some questions I have for you. If I may refer to this. The Q&A way. Can you talk a little about that? What's up with that?
Sure. Well, that's a column I write for the Chess Cafe. It appears monthly. And that's where I answer questions that people email in.
Any kind of question?
Well, usually they have to do with instruction or history or chess culture, things I can maybe pretend to answer. Sometimes technical questions, but usually, most of the time, they have to do with advising people on how they should handle a problem they have with learning or teaching.
Learning or teaching chess?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say...
I would have tried other games, but...
Now, are there any other games you like?
Well, I like games in general. Sure, I'm a games player. Most decent chess players are.
Yeah,
we love problems.
Stratego or something like that.
Yeah.
What else you like?
You mean in games?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I like word games. I like logic games and problem games, math problem games.
Right. I remember
puzzles
Yago or something like that. We've had the Yago people on.
No, I don't belong to any club other than Marshall Chess Club.
Hey, Marshall Chess Club, represent, old school chess as you like it.
Great club.
Now, some books. You have a couple of books over there. What you got there?
Well, I managed to find on my shelf 5 books and brought them down because I needed something to decorate the set, and here they are.
Can you hold some of them up?
Sure. Here is a recent offering.
Pandolfini's Chess Challenges.
Yeah, it looks like an index card.
Hold it. Now you have a book coming out like tomorrow or something out there. What's up?
Yeah, well, it's a reissue, but it's about 40% new of my first book, Let's Play Chess.
Let's Play Chess, very simply. Yeah. Now, I was sharing this with you earlier. Early in my life, when I was chess coaching, I ran across an old craggy copy in the street of Square One. So, and you have the newer edition of this because you were saying that the other one was big. This gigantic tome, it was gigantic, and I found this book. Here, hold it up. There it is. Square One. I found this book lying in the middle of the street, all wet and I took it and I sheltered it and I warmed it up and gave it a home and scratched off all the answers that were on there and wrote in my own answers. Great book. So
I'd love to see those answers.
Oh gosh, embarrassing. Now, let's see. Let me ask. Now, searching for Bobby Fischer, you were training Josh Waitzkin.
Right. It's based on one of my students, Josh Waitzkin. And it really has to do with the relationship between him and his father.
Mm-hmm. It was written by his dad.
Yeah, wonderful writer, Fred Waitzkin. Mm-hmm. It's a great book, one of the really best chess books if you want to learn about the chess community and what it's like to raise a talented youngster. Mm-hmm. I think questions are raised that pertain to all of us, not just whether or not you are interested in chess. So.
Right, and now you discovered Waitzkin, it says in the parks, right?
Right. Well, he was already a very talented individual playing in the park, and I happened to see him one day. And over the course of time, we developed a relationship, and it was a great joy to work with him. And
I saw you guys had a DVD out. That was pretty cool because it had like you guys together, and it was like as adult or a teen. He was a teen, and then again later with the updated shot of the cover.
Right. We've remained friends, and he has some really good books out himself.
Yeah, hold it. If I could plug over here, the one that I'm interested in checking out is The Art of Learning, which talks
Great
about.
Book.
Yeah, so that's a good one. You recommend that to me?
Brilliant book, yes.
Funny that you should mention this because I learned that he he won 4 Tai Chi Chuan pushing hands tournaments. So like
world champion.
Yeah, so he took his chess skills and applied that to Tai Chi.
Yes.
That's amazing because I also do Tai Chi.
No, I didn't know that. It's good to know.
And my friend Zach too, who hipped me to chess as a youth. He is big into Tai Chi. So what's the Tai Chi chess connection? I guess I should read the book, right?
Yes, I recommend you read the book. You'll get much out of it.
Yeah, I could listen. Actually, I was looking online. You could actually get the audio version of it, and him reading such lines as, "Check yourself before you wreck yourself." So I heard that. I was like, all right, that's it. I got to get that one.
That's Lawrence Fishburne in Searching for Bobby Fischer. He has that line in the park. He was great, by the way.
Yeah. So good stuff, man. So did you were on set? I assume. I
was on for almost every single shot. I even directed 2 of the second unit shots, 2 or 3. Got to call cut, so it was a lot of fun.
Cool, man.
Trained all the actors.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a couple of questions. All right, I'm going to throw out some chess. Oh, a chess lesson? Oh, great. Would you indulge us a bit? Because me as a player, now I have my obsession over checkerboards and patterns and stuff like that, but I've been trying to get my chess game up, and I tell you, people always try to threaten me or come on, man, you wearing that tie, I'll play you in chess and all that stuff. It's always like a showdown. Everybody wants to is gunning for me just because I'm wearing this. So I thought I should get my chess game up, and so I started helping along in the set over here. And now everybody thinks I walk into the place, everybody's looking at me like, I've seen you on that chess show, man. You should play good, man. Lil, throw down some money. I'm like, dude, don't be sandbagging me, dude. I ain't got no dough. It's okay, So, let me ask you, do people hit you up like they want to play you in some chess money action?
Sure, if you walk through the right places, Washington Square Park, for example.
They see you? Yeah. Do people recognize you? They're...
Yeah, some people recognize me.
Do you try to sandbag people and act like you don't know what's going on?
No, I've never done that. I enjoy watching it happen, though.
So you can tell. You can tell if somebody's faking somebody out.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll go through how my normal opening is, and maybe
sure.
You can comment on there. Here, I'm gonna gingerly walk on over to you so you can get. I'm gingerly going to sit here and wait for you to get over here. So, here, I'm squatting down here. All right, and now here's what I usually do. I'm opening up with the normal, the E4 action. And, right, so then they counter with that, right?
A double king pawn defense. Yeah.
Oh, yes, very nice. And then I do that.
Bishop's opening.
Okay, bishop's opening, so then there. I mean, is this a good opening? Am I doing all right here so far?
Sure, it's a variant. It's a possible way to play. There are other ways to go.
Well, I'm definitely
just as valid.
Okay, so then once that starts going on, I think the next thing I do is kind of put that together.
Okay, you solidify your e-pawn.
All right, and then sometimes they do that. They'll either mirror me or they'll start moving their knights in.
Yeah. Okay.
So then next up, I'm always getting paranoid about them bringing out something. So then I bring out my knight to NB. That would be NC3. Right?
The queen knight.
Yeah. So I'm bringing out my queen knight, kind of like protecting that in case something comes out and somebody tries to do something. Next up, they're gonna do something like, they're coming over here.
Preparing the castle, perhaps.
Yes, that'd be logical, and I should be thinking about doing that too. So what I do is I put this here. Oh, sorry, that's queens. But I should bring mine out to do that. But I don't know why I'm doing this all of a sudden. I'm trying to keep them from coming in.
Maybe
here
you shouldn't do that.
And attack. I shouldn't do that.
No, I didn't say that. I said maybe you shouldn't do that.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't do this.
This is what you do fairly standardly or regularly?
Yeah, when I usually play people, I do that, and sometimes I get my head. Well, usually I get my head handed to me. Hey, look, the number's up. You guys could call in if you have any questions for Bruce Pandolfini and, of course, me.
Well, a more typical plan here would be to pin the knight.
Pin the knight?
Yeah, so that it can't move. It's a chess tactic.
Okay.
And then white will hope to be able to put pressure on this square and maybe mess up your king side.
Sometimes people try to hate on me and start pushing that.
Yeah.
What can I do to that?
Well, you'd have a choice. You could take the knight or retreat to h4.
And then I retreat to h4, and then they come out with one of these.
Okay, you'd have no
Some
choice.
Roy Lopez, right?
Well, they'd be breaking the attack on the knight. You'd have to go back here. And you would hope to maybe get this in and open up on the king side.
Okay, that sounds good. That's some good stuff there.
But you had to be careful. You don't want to play any particular opening the same way all the time.
Really? All right, can we put it back and you can show me some other openings?
And you should always play with regard to what your opponent's doing. You have to react to that.
Right.
So if they play differently, you're going to have to play differently if you want to get an advantage or stay in the game.
Right. Well, I'm usually playing, it depends if I'm playing white or black, but somebody told me, they recommended to me, they usually moving king e4. Is that the best?
Yes, but what you should try to do is think in terms of a plan. If you're beginning this way, the best thing that white can try to do generally would be to build a classical pawn center. Two pawns aligned like this. Now that once you've done that, you make it possible for all the pieces to come out, all the things on the back row, without having to move another pawn.
Now it depends what they do, because it could be like Queen's Gambit, Queen's Gambit denied, or stuff like that.
Well, this is a king pawn opening. They have to respond to that.
So then they're going to respond to that.
That would make it a double king pawn opening, attempting to stop this directly, this advance.
Okay.
Another popular way to play would be the Sicilian defense.
The Sicilian.
That also concentrates in this square.
Jam a ice pick in your neck, but okay, they do that too. It's all good.
That's very, very common and popular these days.
Or some people like to try and get the grop going on there. That's crazy talk.
But if you were playing a double of black,
yes.
I should ask you: are you thinking of playing in the way we're looking at from the white perspective or black's?
Well, I'm going for the white perspective right now.
Okay, well then you should mount pressure perhaps against the black king pawn.
Okay, so now if I'm coming out with that.
Well, that's a direct, immediate attack. It's playable.
Okay, but what are you talking about? Some pressure. How can I apply?
You can develop a piece toward the middle and attack the pawn.
Attacking it. So they're going to try and back it up. So
well, they shouldn't ignore your move.
They're not going to ignore it.
They shouldn't ignore your opponent's moves.
Okay, so what they're going to probably do is come up with one of these.
That's a good developing move, bringing the knight toward the center
and
defending the e-pawn. Now you have a choice.
Yes.
You have a number of good things that you could do with the white pieces.
Okay.
You could play the Spanish game.
The Spanish game.
Put pressure on the knight.
See.
Now this is an interesting game because in going here, you're really attacking that square.
How so?
Because you're threatening at some point when it's good for you to remove the knight, so the knight won't be guarding that pawn anymore. So in essence, this light squared bishop, which moves on light squares, is attacking a dark square. And if you think like that, then you're thinking like a chess player.
Wow.
Indirect attacks.
Indirect attacks.
Spanish game. Or you could play the Italian game. Focus your attack against that point.
What do people usually do?
Well, people are so different in this world. You could play the Scotch game and open up right away directly.
Scotch.
Make it a three knights game.
And
all these moves are valid.
Come in for the four horsemen opening.
Exactly. We can see why it's a four knights game, right? We can count the four knights.
Yeah. So cool.
So all these things are playable. It's not so important how you start, it's how you follow it up. You have to be consistent and choose a plan that supports your move. You don't want to try this idea, then change your mind, then try that idea, and then back to this one. You'll get nothing done.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of what I do. I mean, you do like zaps and traps. So is there some traps I could set up or things I could do?
Yeah, that was a good title. That actually came to me in a bar. We were all drinking one night, a bunch of chess players and teachers, and someone said, "Yeah, that's an interesting trap," and then someone else said, "Yeah, he really got zapped," and I said, "Traps, zaps, trap. Hey, that's a great title."
And little did you know, and you were able
sure
to
enough.
use it. Well, let's see. Let me ask you. Can I ask you about some chess players? And you give me your.
No,
opinion?
you can't ask me. No, of course you can.
Okay. Now I always mention Paul Morphy every episode.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on him?
Well, he was a great player. He transformed the game.
He really did.
Yeah, because he was really the first player to understand the essence of building the initiatives, playing for the initiative.
He's aggressive.
Yes, he developed his pieces. He understood that as a principle. With each move, he tried to increase his pressure against the opponent's position.
Crazy sacrifices.
Well, when they worked, he didn't make crazy sacrifices. They seemed crazy because most people couldn't analyze them, but he looked ahead very clearly. He didn't make any sacrifice unless he felt it was going to work. Adolf Anderssen, a player who preceded him, made some crazy sacrifices. He made them work anyway, but...
So every move must have a purpose, as you're saying.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. You get up in the morning, you have to have a purpose.
True that. Now, let me ask you here. Let's see. Oh, do we have any callers calling in? All right. I just wanted to. This was the section where I asked if callers are calling in. Now, middle stuff. First, before even that, I want to ask you about what other books. We were talking before about how Josh was moving towards using his chess skills towards Tai Chi. But do you think like anybody could use their skills in chess towards anything?
Well, let's say this. I mean, when you do chess, you're solving problems, and you rely on lots of techniques that can be applied in other disciplines and other ways of thinking. That's the great thing about chess. I mean, you have to be a master jurist. You have to find creative ways of solving tricky...
A master what? Jurist?
Jurist.
Jurist? What's a jurist?
Well, heuristics. It's the art of problem solving.
Ah, I see. I'm going to get that for my SAT words right now.
And you do lots of things in chess that can be applied elsewhere. It's you'd be surprised. I mean, for example, you'll look at an idea in chess. This happens all the time.
Yep.
A combination of moves, and you try to do this and then that, and then this, and it just doesn't work.
Right.
75% of the time, it works if you flip the ideas. If you do the second idea first, or rearrange the sequence. And so that's the one thing you learn from chess, which can be applied elsewhere. By taking the elements and rearranging them, you may find a solution. There's another type of thing, a problem-solving tactic that happens all the time in chess. If I were to show you a position, let's take this position.
Whoa, hold on, what are you doing there? Oh, let me jump. I'm jumping over here. Wait a second. Okay.
I'm going to get these things out of the way.
Go for it.
And if I were to show this to a class, let's say,
There we go.
let's put these on the side.
Now we're talking.
On the rug here.
Okay.
Let's say you had this position.
So this is okay.
Yeah. This is checkmate in 2 moves for white.
Yes.
What I would ask a class or anyone, I would say is, do you know how to solve a problem like this?
How do I get checkmate in 2 moves?
And invariably, you know what the class or the other individual would do? He or she would look for a move to solve the problem. But that's not the question I asked. The question I asked is, do you know how to solve a problem like this? It seems to me to answer my question, you have to ask me a question in turn.
What would the question be?
What do you mean like this? What does that mean?
What do you mean by this?
You can't answer my question unless you ask me that question. What do you mean like this? What is this?
That's very, very Socratic. Or is it,
That's how I teach.
Okay, very good.
I teach the art of problem solving by asking questions. If you ask intelligent questions, you practically have the answer.
You better be careful because you know what they do? They try to put people to death that start to ask you questions like that.
I anticipate that happening shortly.
Okay, so I'm going to say, if I
what kind of problem is this, or what kind of position is this?
I'm curious.
How would you solve this?
Yes.
Well, this falls into the class of position where the other side has very few possibilities. Well, I can go here or here. In situations like that, you don't look to your move. You look to what the opponent can do, and then you say, well, what would I like to be able to do after my opponent has gone there? So let's say the opponent goes here.
Right.
In our analysis, where would you like to put the queen so that it would be mate?
Okay, so where were you here?
No, don't move it there.
Okay.
Pick it up, have magical powers, and place it down anywhere on the board so that it would be checkmate. There are two places.
There?
That's a support mate because the king supports the queen.
Right.
And the other place would be here, which is called a pure mate because every square in the mating pattern is guarded but once.
The pure mate?
Pure mate, P-U-R-E.
Pure mate.
Yeah. Let's say the king had gone here instead. The other alternative, it would be mate by going here, another support mate,
right,
or a comparable mate on that side.
Right, that's it.
So, in order to solve this problem, by having looked ahead, all you have to do is attack both these two squares with one move.
Hold it. How would you get there? Obviously, you're on this.
How can you play a move with this queen that attacks both squares? Where can the queen now go so that it's positioned to go to either here or here?
Oh, okay, so I'm looking to here or here.
These two dark squares.
This square right there. So it goes there.
See, you applied a technique for solving this problem. Instead of striking out trying to... Is there another place you could go that attacks both squares?
No. Yeah? There?
Which means since the board is symmetrical, there's probably another answer going that way.
Right, so then it would be like...
It's like a giant X.
Yeah, there it is. Amazing.
How do you solve a problem like this? By looking seeing what the defender is going to do and then looking for your move, working backwards. A lot of chess problems are solved that way.
Right, like when I was a kid, I used to do mazes and I would start at the end of the maze and move all the way out. I know it's cheating, but it's craziness. But
yeah, what you do is with a maze is you either look to the goal and work backward, or you look from the front and try to go as far as you can. There's probably going to be a gap between the backward movement and the forward one, and you try to connect or fill in that gap.
Right. Wow, any more? That's amazing.
Well, let's just vary it a little bit.
Okay.
Let's replace the queen with a rook.
Now that limits our stuff here.
This is checkmate in 3 moves. This shows the difference between the power of the queen and the power of the rook. It turns out a mating pattern would be a rook checking on the outer row. The kings opposing each other. And any of these checks form what we call a right triangle mate. Because you can imagine a right triangle being drawn over the 3 pieces.
Right, I see. Everybody's always saying, I'm trying to triangulate.
This is a right triangle mate as well. The answer to this problem, how do you mate in 3 moves, is rather surprising, I think.
How?
I'll tell you what a lot of people would do initially. They would say, well, let me try this. I'll give a discovered check.
Right.
And that's not going to work because the black king can escape off the outer row, and you're not going to mate him in 3 moves. You mate it in 3 moves. And if this doesn't work, the symmetrical idea going that way is not going to work either.
Correct.
So you can rule that out. It turns out the rook does all the work here.
Okay.
And what you learn about rooks very quickly is that, as you begin to play with them, is they have enormous cutoff power. So let's say you go here, you cut off this entire row.
Right.
And then that reduces black's move to 1 move.
To 1 square.
Black would have to go here, threatening to run to this file.
Right.
So what you would do is use the rook to cut off the entire file, which would force the black king back. No, you want to cut off this entire file, the C file.
Cut off the C file, you have to move over there.
Now that compels the black king to move back into line with the white king. You want him to be lined up.
Yeah.
So you have a right triangle mate now.
Oh, so then it moves there and it's good money.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if I were to show this to a class and someone would have find that answer and say, well, that's the answer. I said, going here to start with. But then I would say, well, doesn't this work as well?
Then you have to do it exactly symmetrically the opposite
Yeah,
direction.
wouldn't that idea work as well? And the answer is yes, you have a comparable way of mating on that side. And then I would ask other questions. I would say, well, does this move work? Or this move work?
So you just start making people think.
And the answer is that any rook move whatsoever mates in 3 moves. Any random rook move, you can close your eyes and push the rook, you have to be correct. It's impossible to be wrong if you move the rook here.
Wow, all right, I'm going to definitely have to check
Once you've shown that to a class, then they'll listen to you.
Wow, so you gain their respect.
Yeah, you show them lots of things they didn't expect or they never thought were
So even
possible.
some kid that might be a prodigy of some sort, and then you show them that, and you're like, huh, were you thinking of that? And they're like, no.
Yeah, you do things like that to get their attention.
Well,
but you find that you don't have to do that in most cases because, let's say the kids involved in the Chess in the Schools program in New York City. I mean,
which you started.
Yeah, back in '86 with Fan Adams. Great program. I'm no longer involved in it, but it's a terrific program.
So you're proud of your work.
Well, I'm glad that youngsters have the opportunity to take part in free chess.
Speaking of which, the show, we ran through a whole episode already. I don't believe it. I mean, Bruce, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I want to thank you so much. But before we get off here, I just want to ask you a couple. What do you think about the future of chess, or just the future in general? What do you see here? What's your thoughts?
Chess is a glorious past. It's going to have a great future as well. We're seeing very talented players arise all over the place. Thousands of them.
More people are going to be starting to think of chess. I think now we're going into a new Renaissance area where people will be thinking more.
Well, let us hope they will be thinking more. Yes.
Right. Any advice for everybody out there?
Yeah, go out and enjoy yourself. You learn the most when you're enjoying what you're doing. So if you're going to play chess, do it because you want to do it, and it's great fun for you.
Don't be busting chops and just like being all like, don't get crazy. Just have fun. Right on. Thank you so much.